Alright, welcome back to Shaving Fuzzy. I'm Fuzzy. Hi, y'all, on Monday. And if it's Monday, that means, once again, it's Micromatic Monday. This is the one, this one doesn't have the bumps in it, and I didn't count how many teeth it had. There was a question somebody asked here a while back. You get this question all the time, is the shave different between the different Micromatics? And, we're talking about these here open combers. And the ones that had the bumps and don't have the bump and got 14 teeth or got 17 teeth or whatever it is. And the answer is always, no, I can't really tell there's any difference. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. I don't know. Anyway, William stick today, because we hadn't used it in a while. We're going to use a vintage brush. We've got a Ever Ready 500 PB, which I understood stands for Pure Badger. And it's not been reknotted or anything. It's still, vintage. It's still authentic. Get a little bit of, we didn't use enough of this. We got to come down a little bit more on the tin. That's the bad thing, is I don't want something just to sit up and not get used. And once it's gone, it's kind of gone. Now I have plenty of other vintage soaps, so I won't think I'll ever really run out of vintage soaps, but eventually this one will get used up, because I'm not just going to set it up and make it a monument. Well, as you can see there, we got a few days worth of growth in. I was off yesterday, and Friday night, after I got off at my regular place, I went back out to that bank we're watching that I've told y'all about, and then Saturday night I was out at the bank. So, quite frankly, I cheated and didn't shave before I went out Saturday night, because I'm not going to see anybody anyway. That's out on the north side of Baton Rouge, which is not the nicest part of town. And sure enough, I get out there, and there's a CVS right across the way from the bank. And I needed something from the CVS. So I popped in, or I needed something, and CVS had it. Put it that way. I'm not the world's biggest fan of CVS, sorry. And we won't go into all of that, because it don't matter. But so I think I've mentioned that there's the old gal that always out by the road up until 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. She's sitting there yelling at traffic or yelling at herself, talking to herself, anybody walking by, ghosts, dogs, mosquitoes, flies, whatever she's yelling at. And she got into a fight or an argument with another female, or another female got into an argument with her. I don't know how it works. Again, this is right on the side of the road and everything that entails. And they didn't realize there was a Baton Rouge police officer right there in the parking lot that was talking with some people. Anyway, they got into an argument that escalated into, one of them got cut. The lady that screams she was hollering she'd been stabbed in the head. I didn't see what, that's my vintage Ever Ready there. I didn't see what was in the woman's hands that cut her. She did cut her. I saw the blood all over the place. And then all of a sudden, there's one police officer and a bunch of people. And anyway, I'm not one of these super security, thinks they're many police officer types that would run in and save the day or whatever, but I did move close enough that he could see I was there, and if anything was happening, I would, done what I could to help him. Luckily, everybody stayed under control. He called for backup, and the fire department showed up, and the ambulance showed up, and they hauled one of them off to jail, and they took her to the emergency room, I guess. Get her fixed up. So she got an ambulance ride and a trip to the hospital. Hope she's all right. But anyway, that's what happens. If you'll notice, this old vintage brush, it does not have a lot of backbone anymore. If it ever did, I don't know, but it splays out pretty good. But as you can tell, especially with this here vintage Williams, it's working really well. And it does. Anyway, that was pretty much the only eventful part of the weekend, other that people can't see. We've got yellow caution tape, or don't cross tape, or whatever you want to call it, all the way around that building. parking lot, that whole lot right there is blocked off, and you still get people. There's a Popeye's chicken next door, and people will still leave out Popeye's and just drive through the yellow tape, break it all up, and go through, drive out, and break it all up. So I had to piece the tape back a few times, but that's just typical stuff. Common sense is not common anymore, and people can't drive anyway. I tell you, it's something. Sitting out at that right there, it's one of the more major roads in that part of Baton Rouge, Airline Highway, which is Highway 61, which runs all the way up to Memphis, I believe. It actually runs up above Memphis, but I know Highway 61 from where it runs up through Mississippi, up through Rolling Fork, and you know, up that way, and you end up in Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is, if you know anything about the blues, that's where Robert Johnson went to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil. Cleveland, Mississippi. But anyway, Airline Highway is 61. And sitting out there all night watching all the idiots drive through, and the Jackrabbit starts, and all the folks running around with you know, horsepower that they bought, didn't build, making all the noise like they're doing something. It's pretty fun. And then you had the guys coming through in the, you know, the mid and late 80 Oldsmobiles and Chevys and Pontiacs. Only thing I don't like, and y'all knock me for it if you want to, I don't like when they take the old square bodies and stuff and then they put the great big 22-inch shiny rim stuff on there. I don't like that. I love what they're doing with the old vehicles. I drive one. But I do love that. We're going to put a little more. For some reason, we didn't get enough soap on the old brush there. We don't need just a little bit more. You can go back to the top of your shave stick if you need to and brush off a little extra soap. We don't want anything but just a thin coat, especially here on the second round. Add a little water to it, and there we go. Now we got it. But they're coming through in all these old 80s Caprice and, you know, the Oldsmobiles, the Delta, whatever they call all that stuff. And I'm not much on the music, although I listen to a lot of different music. And heck, when I'm riding around, I turn my music up. Why shouldn't other folks? I get it. I just don't like them big old rims they put on it. But just sitting at that light, watching the people that just make U-turns out of nowhere and don't pay attention to and race the light. Seems like every single time it starts to turn red, there's someone that just shires down on the gas to make that light, which I understand is a traffic violation. Now, someone help me out if I'm wrong about that, but I've always heard racing the light like that was a violation. But anyway, happens every light. And that's a problem. If you're, you know, if you're driving along and the light turns yellow and you're starting to slow down so you don't run the light, there's likely going to be somebody try to park in your trunk. Might as well go ahead and let the tailgate down on your truck, or there's fixing to be somebody drive in it if you're pulling that kind of stuff. And it just, I don't know. It just kind of irks me. Use a turn light. Nobody uses turn signals, and when you use one, nobody knows what it means, and they still try to run over you. Most amazing thing. Y'all hold on, give me just a second, please. Let me look real quick down here for something that I don't think I had. I'm sure I don't. I thought I had some witch hazel. I've already said 3 or 4 times I need to pick some up. Nah, I ain't done it yet. So anyway, we ain't got no witch hazel, so we're just gonna do a cleanup pass with a wet razor. We got enough since we done cleaned up all that mess. The Matic, of course, is very efficient. It's one of those razors that I've always said it teaches you how good or how bad your technique is. Because if you don't use it right, it's a beast. Use it right, and it's very efficient. You're going to do what you need to do. Check this out right here. Let me get a little little drying action going on here. There we go. Check that out. Took that mess and shaved it right off. All nice and cleaned up, ready for work. I was going to use some of the Special Reserve that my sister, what's one of the ones my sister sent me. However, right this very second, I couldn't find it. So we're just going to use classic vanilla instead. Feels good. Had a little old sting right over here. Wonder what it did. But that's that classic vanilla is wonderful. Now this is also the scent if you buy the Clubman soap or in the little round green tub or in the tube, the green tube. That's what you're going to get is the classic vanilla. It is not the actual Clubman scent. Why is it not actually the Clubman scent? I don't know. I didn't have anything to do with it. I think personally it should be, but it ain't. All right, a couple shout outs. Miss Susie, how you doing? Long time. No say hey, so I'm going to say hey. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, Dave in Kentucky, hope things are going good with you, sir. Hope you're running top of the green. That's viewer number 7 for y'all that know. And Bryce, hope you're having a good day. Agent 007 is staying over at some friends. I got to see him yesterday because he locked his keys in his truck. And his spare key was still here. So I drove, it's a little over an hour over there. But it was neat because I got to see some places I hadn't seen before. It wasn't neat because, well, it was a little over an hour drive and burning the gas and everything because can't remember to put his spare key in his wallet or whatever. Anyway, the way it goes. Hey, sis, how you doing? Miss Press, how's it going? Hope things are going good in y'all's world. My sister is still continuously beating my butt, and I play Words with Friends too. I don't play it very well, but I do play it. So the last time I checked the stats last week, my sister and I played 286 games, out of which she had won 186. I ain't doing the math on it. But anyway, I get to win one every once in a while, and I guess that's just going to have to do. Woo, look at that sink I messed up. It is. All right, folks, y'all have a good one. I must admit that I haven't checked in and toast in a few days. I'm going to need to go over there and see what's going on. Hopefully tonight I can do that. I'll be going to work here in a little while. And hopefully it's just a normal, typical night. We got the new management types are coming along great. They brought people in that hadn't worked for this company and hadn't worked for this site and everything. And they were casino people. And as y'all remember, I spent a lot of years in casino. I get along with casino people. And these are good casino people. Really are. So they're getting up to speed. So everything's going good there. And everything. So we're going to go to work. Hope it's just a normal night. All right. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, happy shades to you. We'll see you next time.